guys, how's it going? This is Tiny underscore, and for today's video we are gonna do something interesting. I actually saw this in TikTok, so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you my top 10 BL list. This list is my own preference. I am not in any way saying that this BL is better than the other. This is my own preference. So I hope you guys won't attack me for this because this is my own list. Actually, fun fact, I started reading BL or yaoi because of Haikyuu. Yeah. I started watching Haikyuu back in May 2020, and I didn't really know about the shippings and stuff. But when I decided to join the fun club in, I think it was in Facebook, I started seeing the post of like Kagihina, Buko Aka, Iwaoi. So that was then the time where I was introduced to male to male ship. That's the story of how I got into yaoi. So I'm so sorry guys if my list is quite shallow for you. I think because I just started recently, so if you guys have any recommendations, then please leave them in the comments down below. Let me just fix my hair real quick because it's getting hot. I hope you guys don't mind the noise because I turned on the fan because it's really hot in here, and I have a new background. So now let's start on my top 10 list, and on my number 10 is A Guy Like You by Waje. So the story is about Go Siwon's dreams and is constantly visited by the clever, beautiful Kang Jinha. In the dream, Jinha keeps on mentioning this incident that happened between them, but Siwon can't remember anything. And how can it feel so real? Luckily for Siwon, hints about the incident starts to appear, and Siwon is able to regain his memory bit by bit. How will their relationship change at the end of it all? That's the summary, okay? So I remember reading this BL and I was so stressed out because the main character, which is Go Siwon, I think he was very in denial. Yeah, he was very in denial to the point where he got abducted by the main antagonist. I really felt sorry for Jinha that time, even though he was an asshole at the beginning, but still, I know that he really loves Siwon, so I was really frustrated and stressed while reading this BL, but still, I like the overall story, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10, which is why this is in my top 10. And on my number 9 is Apathy by Sinran or Kisai Entertainment. So I'm gonna read the summary. When almost college dropout Jensen attempts to drink away his problems, unemployed Nathaniel suddenly pukes on him and ruins his night. As an apology, Nathaniel offers to help Jensen with his studies. Despite Jensen's difficulties in getting along with people, the two became friends and something deeper begins to grow between them. This BL, it's just very light and romantic, so I really like this BL. I remember Nathaniel is very clumsy in the BL, like overboard clumsy, so it was also quite funny, but I love Jensen and Nathaniel, so I'll give this an 8.5. That if you guys are looking for BL or yaoi that is lighthearted and there's not really a lot of things that are going on, then I recommend Apathy. Now on my number 8 is Make Me Bark. Actually, I was asking for recommendations in the comments, and my last I think it was, yeah, I was asking for recommendations in the comments in my video, and then someone actually recommended me this BL, so I started reading this one and I really like it, so it's in my top 8. This is by Sagol, and the summary is: Songjun's not doing great, but life is looking up. His job at the convenience store pays enough for him to afford his own place. A tiny, smelly, and laughably cheap place, but he loves it. He loves it right up until he walks home and finds it on fire. Unfortunately, things gets worse as he realizes he doesn't know anyone in the city who can help. Wait, no, that's not right. Actually, he does know Lee Hyo-in, a rich kid from his university who is coincidentally looking for a roommate. Well, not a roommate, more of a dog. If you guys are looking for some BL that has some comedy in it, then I recommend Make Me Bark because it really made me laugh and I really love it because Yo-in, which is the semi in or the top in the BL, he's very cute, very funny, and I love the fact where he uses his pet dog, Ruby, as an excuse to make Sungjun guilty, so he always says yes to his commands, I think. But yeah, I really like Make Me Bark, so it's in my top 8. And on my top 7 is the controversial Yours to Claim. Yes, it's very controversial because I've seen a lot of TikTok claiming that Yaoi isn't... Well, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Chill out. I'm not saying that I'm Team Yaoi, and I'm also not saying that I'm Team Kain, but I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I want to finish the BL first, but I really like where it's going, so that's why it's in my top 7. But don't worry, I don't really condone rape or anything, even though there's like a lot of things that are going on in TikTok, and I'm not really saying that I'm Team Yaoi or I'm Team Kain. I'm pro Juin. Whatever that makes him happy, then I'll support him. But I think there's still a background story as to why Yahweh is that way, or there's still some background story about Cain because he just pops out of nowhere. So I'm pretty sure there's still a deep story, so I can't wait to read the updates. But yeah, Yours to Claim is my top 7. Nothing crazy ever happens to Join. He's just your average college student. Keeping his head down and flying under the radar, Yaoi, on the other hand, is drop dead gorgeous. Super popular but also kinda mean. Yeah, he's kinda mean. So why has the campus heartthrob taken an interest in a total nobody? There must be an ulterior motive. This is what I'm saying. But it's hard to care when faced with those killer looks. Will Juin become a slave to his desires, or perhaps he'll become the master himself? And following my top 7 is my top 6. And my top 6 is Painter of the Night. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm not into toxic guys or whatsoever. I just like the story and, you know, I like hot memes. And I have a very small list of BL, so I'm sorry if I didn't meet your expectations, but this is my own preference and I'm gonna read more BL in the future, so I think this list will change eventually, so I will do an updated version soon. This is an historical yaoi. So the summary is, Vacuum is a young painter with an exceptional talent, creating erotic images of men. Though he has published a few collections under a pseudonym, he has decided to quit painting. Then Song-ho, a young nobleman, barges into his life. A hellraiser notorious for his insatiable lust, Song-ho forces Nakyum to become his private painter. However, the nights that await Nakyum are beyond anything he could have imagined. I actually read chapter 63. I don't like it when there's misunderstandings going on the story, so I feel kind of stressed. I just want them to make up and then make things clear, so it'll be a happy ending. If you guys want me to read some BL or some yaoi, then please leave them in the comment section down below. And now, finally, on my top 5, which is Here You Are. This is also one of the BL that I recommend if you guys want something light. So, the summary is that receptioning the newcomers is a task for Yu Yang, and he ends up helping the unsociable and towering Li Huan. The kind of person that does not everything to be disliked, but after being better know each other, he discovers that the giant isn't that bad of a person at all. Most of the BLs that I've read, the uke or the bottom usually are very shy, sad, or they come out as weak, okay? But then this BL, Yu Yang is very strong and independent, so I also like him. He's very cool. And I like the part where he defended himself from people that scrutinize his sexuality. Is that the right word? Is that the right term? yeah, I actually like it about him. So I know there's like a rough road in the beginning, but then they made up, and somehow after that scene, it's it's perfect. Yeah, they're perfect. I really love Yu Yang and Lee Won, but I also love this BL because of the side stories. So if you guys want BL that doesn't really revolve around the main characters, like there's their side stories and it's not really that depressing or stressful, then I recommend Here You Are. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention it to you guys that Yours to Claim and A Guy Like You is under the same author? Yeah. And now that we are close to the end, we are at my top 4. I said I love you in Sign. Yes! My top 4 is Sign. So now we're gonna talk about the summary. A love story about Go Johan, a thief who gets excited by the sign language of Soa, and Soa who gets excited by sound made by Johan. I finished this BL recently and I have actually really love this one because it also has a comedic taste to it, and also because I love Johan and Soa. There's also a side story by Gyeon and Jie. Yeah, I actually love the characters, and I am very intrigued by Johan's voice. I think I like to imagine that it's Corp's husband's voice. The fans actually asked the author as to how he or she would describe Johan's voice. He said that it's deep baritone voice. So I think Corp's husband is the voice that I like to imagine. Yeah. I love it because it's not your typical love story, and I love how Johan and Soa is very dedicated to each other and they love each other. They're very faithful, and even though there's a lot of problems that came up, I like how they were both brave to face things and clear all the misunderstandings. So yeah, that's why it's in my top 4. I love it. And also because Johan is very gentleman. I like other BL that are on my list, like Yours to Claim and Painter of the Night. There doesn't really know, the word consent doesn't really fit the story. We are down on my top 3. On my top 3 is Cherry Blossoms After the Winter. I like this BL because they're just so cute. They started as high school lovers. Were they in high school or college? Oh yeah, they started in high school and then now they're working still together, and I just love it. I want to describe how much I love this BL and the reason why I love this BL, but nothing just came out. Nothing just got. I don't know. I can't say anything. I just love this BL so much. It's very cute, very romantic, and I just wished I have my own Tay song. Summary is actually from living under the same roof to being classmates. Ever since his parents passed away, Haebum has been living in Taesung's house. And now being a 12th grader, he enters the same class as Taesung, which makes the whole situation way more awkward. Living together 24/7, Taesung and Haebum's relationship is bound to change. I like how they both have misunderstandings, like how Haebum misunderstands that Taesung hates him, and Taesung also thinks that Haebum hates him, and then they reconciled and now they are lovers until the very end, and I just want them to end up together, to get married. Yes! And I'm reading updates every week. Every week until, I don't know, it's not really like every week, like there's a schedule. It depends on the translator. I think that's why there's some delays, or there are times where there's no updates in the week. Sad. And now on my top 2. On, oh my god, my lighting. And now on my top 2, it is, yes, The only Omega verse in this list is Love is an Illusion. Love is an illusion. I love everything about this BL. Although I was very mad or upset at Yes Song at the beginning because I don't know, he was very stubborn, but still I understand that he's very young and then he suddenly got pregnant, so it was all a shock to him, but he's a good mom or dad to build now, so I love this because it also has comedy in it, and I love how Dojin loves Yesun so much. I love how dedicated he is to his family, and also because I don't know, my favorite scene is, I think, when there's a rumor about Dojin falling in love with another alpha, and then Yesung heard about this and he was really worried, and then he talks to Byul, and then Dojin came, and then no, they're just also happy. So let's talk about the summary. Yesung spent his entire life believing he was an alpha, the jackpot of the genetic lottery. But his world is flipped upside down when he finds out he isn't an alpha, but a lowly Omega. Don't look down on Omega. This revelation is pushed to its limits when he constantly crosses paths with Dojin, an alpha who can't stand Omegas. Take a step into the Omegaverse and find out what it is that makes their pulses race and their bodies go wild. Wow. I'm actually planning on reading this one again, even though I'm already finished with this one. There's still side stories going on, but the main story is already finished. Yeah. Lastly, very, very, very lastly, I think you guys already know what's my top one because this is a very famous BL. Pew, pew, pew. It's BJ Alex. Yeah. J1 Sunbae. So every night at 10, Donghyun locks himself up in his room, grabs a box of tissues, and watches a live com show hosted by Alex, a BJ or broadcast jockey. Timid Donghyun admires not only Alex's ripped body but his candor in sharing his Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more into this BL than that summary, and I really love it. I mean, I started reading this BL. I actually thought that I won't love it or I won't like it because I think Alex or Jiwon was really mean at that time and he was very aggressive to Donghyun, so I feel kind of bad and I was really mad at him that time, but then there's character development. So everything's all good. And the side story between MD and Chanwoo is, I love the character development and everything. Thumbs up! I'm not really into drama, but this one, BJ Alex, is just a masterpiece. So I really, really love it. I hope this gets animated. I actually saw, like, in TikTok, yes, in TikTok again. I'm obsessed with TikTok. I saw in TikTok where they're actually planning on animating some yaoi or BL. I think there's gonna be an uproar when this gets animated. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this list, and like I said, if you guys want to recommend me some BL or yaoi, then leave them in this description down below, and please like and subscribe. Also, I've seen this one on PewDiePie's video. Yes, I watch his videos. Look at Graph! That's it. Jenny!